Hey, what's up, my Radical Squad? My name is DelmarshaeWalker. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a great day today. In this video, I want to talk about respect. And before I actually get into the conversation, I want to share some videos with you.
Putin has canceled more than $20 billion in debt owed by African countries. This debt had accumulated during the Soviet era. In the past, Russia had attempted to collect these debts, which were mainly a result of Moscow's previous alliances with African countries that supported its communist ideology. During this time, Russia provided military equipment and technical assistance to countries such as Angola, Algeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Namibia, Mozambique, Morocco, and South Africa, among others. As a result, many African nations found themselves heavily indebted to Russia, with official documents estimating the total amount at $20 billion. During the conference, Putin also revealed that the trade relationship between Russia and African nations is thriving, with the trade volume reaching a staggering $18 billion in 2022 and growing each year. In addition, Putin expressed his belief that a more robust transition to national currencies and financial settlements, and the creation of new transport and logistics networks will help facilitate the development of reciprocal economic exchanges. By taking these measures, Russia and African nations will likely be able to build stronger, more self-sufficient economies, paving the way for a more prosperous future. Additional opportunities are opened up by the process of establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area, which began in 2021, which will become a conventional market with a total GDP of more than $3 trillion, he added. During the conference, Putin expressed Russia's support for establishing connections with the African Continental Free Trade Area, both through the Eurasian Economic Union and bilaterally. He also noted that Africa is poised to become a leading player in the multipolar world. He said, "The states of Africa are constantly increasing their weight and their role in world affairs. They are asserting themselves more and more confidently in politics and in the economy. We are convinced that Africa will become one of the leaders in the emerging new multipolar world order."
Putin is welcomed here, and no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will finish all his meetings. We'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court, who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world. That former Prime Minister of Tony Blair admitted that they made a horrible mistake when it comes to Saddam Hussein. They've not been charged today. Bush is still there. They've not been charged till to date. And then Obama killed Gaddafi. And then nothing has happened. We're here today with Libya being destroyed and unable to recover because of America. We know very well that where NATO gets involved, those are terrorists. We know very well where the US says we're going in to install peace. That place will never know peace as long as America has visited that place. So we don't want ICC's hypocrisy to apply here in our country. President Putin is welcomed. We know our friends. We know the people who liberated us. We know the people who supported us. In Kutukonaval, the weapons that were used in Kutukonaval that led to the liberation of South Africa were coming from Russia. Russia supplied us with weapons in Kutukonaval. Cuba supplied us with soldiers. MK was drunk.
China has also worked on Qatar's Mega Reservoirs project, a network of 5 massive potable water reservoirs that can provide a strategic water supply to the entire population for 7 days in case of a water emergency. Furthermore, thanks to the Chinese tech company Huawei, in 2018, Qatar became the first nation in the world to launch a nationwide live 5G network, which now covers 90% of the country's populated areas. This network played a central role in the success of the FIFA World Cup held in Qatar last year. This kind of Chinese engagement that directly impacts local populations can be seen almost everywhere across the Middle East. In Egypt, for example, China State Construction Engineering Corporation has been awarded a contract to build the entire central business district of the country's new administrative capital, which is slated to be home to over 30 skyscrapers, including the iconic tower, which will be the largest skyscraper of the African continent. This is predicted to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs, as well as attract foreign investment, which will be crucial in supporting Egypt's booming population of 110 million people. Egypt and China's relationship again goes way back, with Egypt being one of the first countries in the world to join the BRI, and China being one of the only countries to provide financial support following instability from the 2011 Arab Spring protests. I'll leave you with a compelling final example that has directly impacted the lives of millions of Muslims across the world, and it's likely not what you expect. It involves the Saudi Arabian city of Mecca, which is considered the holiest city in Islam. In 2010, China Railway Construction Corporation finished building the Mecca Metro. This light rail was built specifically to ease the severe traffic congestion on the roads during the Hajj, which is an annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca. It links 3 main Hajj destinations and thus provides a convenient transportation option for Muslim pilgrims. Every year, the rail conveniently transports millions of pilgrims between holy sites during the 5 days of Hajj. It has been described by many pilgrims as nothing short of a revolutionary upgrade. Furthermore, this is actually part of a much larger project aimed at easing pilgrim traffic. The much larger Haramain high-speed rail project, finished in 2018, connects Islam's holiest city Mecca with its second holiest city, Medina. The 450-kilometer high-speed railway is designed to carry 60 million passengers a year and cuts travel time between the two cities to under 2 hours, down from 6 hours by bus. Simply put, this Chinese project directly benefits millions of Muslim pilgrims every year and facilitates their religious devotion to the holiest of cities. In conclusion, the simple truth is that while China is indeed keen to access the region's resources to secure its energy needs, Middle Eastern countries are just as eager to partner with China to receive its capital and gain access to its deep technology and development expertise. Most importantly, the Middle East has now pivoted away from the United States and towards China for these partnerships. The reason for this is quite simple. Due to decades of poor engagement by the United States, not to mention its invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, and involvement in several other devastating conflicts that have destabilized large parts of the Middle East to this day, many Middle Eastern countries have become disillusioned with the U.S. true intentions. By contrast, China's policy of non-interventionism and pursuing win-win scenarios is a breath of fresh air for the region. As a result, the Middle East now looks to China for the foreign investment and expertise it needs to advance. But don't take it from me. According to established research institutions, such as the Pew Research Center and the Arab Barometer from Princeton University, the majority of political elites and the general public in the Middle East perceive China's engagement in the region positively, and unlike Western investment, it does not come with any strings attached or evoke memories of the region's colonial past.
In return for expertise and investment, the Jamaican government handed over 1,200 acres of land around the road to the Chinese, who promised to build 3 luxury hotels with 2,400 rooms. In a country in the grip of austerity imposed by the International Monetary Fund, and where poverty has doubled since 2007, according to the Center for Economic Policy Research, the arrival of the Chinese has been seen by many as the only hope. Jamaica has become the hub of the Chinese presence in the Caribbean and is now home to the regional offices of the state-owned Chinese Harbor Engineering Company, which built the Beijing Highway Link Road. The Beijing Highway is currently the largest single investment by the Chinese in the Caribbean. The project included $730 million from China and more than 1,000 Chinese workers and 1,000 local Jamaicans that spent 3 years building it. But it wasn't a walk in the park. The rugged terrain required creative engineering solutions.
In the past 2 decades, China has built large infrastructure projects in almost every country in Africa, and this has made Western critics uncomfortable.
China and Africa can forge an even stronger, comprehensive, strategic and cooperative partnership.
A common portrayal of China's lending practices is known as debt trap diplomacy, a phrase made popular after being used in government documents during the Trump administration. The so-called debt trap is created when a country lends to poorer countries, intentionally overwhelming them with unsustainable debt, forcing them to surrender strategic assets or concede increased political leverage. But so far, there's no evidence that such a debt trap has been sprung in Africa.
Now, there's always a certain grain of truth, like with every stereotype to it, but it breaks down very, very quickly upon any type of serious examination.
The focus on debt trap diplomacy is part of wider Western anxieties towards China in Africa.
We've already seen that Chinese investments in Chinese infrastructure projects have been linked to increasing Chinese influence within the host country ruling elite. That may end up becoming somewhat of a leverage point for China to push some of these countries or ruling elites to side with China on critical issues that are important to the U.S. or to its allies.
But while the US has focused its Africa strategy on aid and social services, China has been building.
African governments themselves said, we are tired of aid and charity. We want to do trade, we want to be treated like partners. The Chinese came along and said, great, we don't do aid and charity, we want to do business with you.
Global Gateway will mobilize 300 billion euros till 2027.
Now the US and Europe are answering back with their own infrastructure initiatives to counter China, but African experts are skeptical.
At the end of the day, China has been that guy around the corner with, a bouquet of flowers to Africa, the US, Europe and the UK have time and time again said, be careful of the flowers you see out of the window, they have thorns on them.
As you see in the videos that I shared with you, the rest of the world is kind of pulling away from America. And I think part of the reason why is, it's a lot of things that have happened in the past that other countries don't like America for. And with the most recent things that has been going on within America, a lot of people are looking at America and they're basically just seeing us fall apart. It's a lot of stuff that's unexcusable. And it's a lot of countries that value having a mother and a father and taking care of their kids. Yes, throughout the world, you're going to find people that don't care about women, don't care about the family, don't care about kids. But when you see just how open America has been about that, that has turned a lot of countries against America. And then on the same part, America do not respect other countries or respect, especially Africa. They don't show any respect towards Africa. When you look at the relationship between Africa and America, first they went over there, they stole their people and brought them over to America. They stole their resources. They colonized Africa. And even when they stopped, they started moving away from the colonization of Africa, they still didn't show that continent respect. They treated them as one people. They're not. There are different people, different tribes in Africa that has different understanding, different belief, different languages, different culture. There are different people on the same continent. Yes, their skin color might look the same, but they're not the same. America don't want to acknowledge that when they go over and have, talk to them, or they bring them over for different summits and things like that. They don't respect them on that level. And so they're getting that respect from China and they're getting that respect from Russia. And so that's why they're going more in that direction than they are with America. And so, but American is still naive. It's like they still don't want to open their eyes because they're doing the same thing to black people over here. It's like a lot of times you'll hear, y'all need to get over it. That was a long time ago. We're not harping on it. The only thing we're constantly asking for is to be respected. The only thing we constantly ask for is to be seen as human beings. We're constantly asking, okay, if y'all don't want to acknowledge that we're human, y'all don't want to treat us like human, y'all don't want to treat us like with respect, then leave us alone. That's the only thing we ask. We're not, we're not harping on this. We're trying to move forward. And that's the same thing that's going on with Africa. They're trying to move forward. Just imagine like when they had the summit and a lot of African presidents came over here to America. When they speak to other countries, they speak to them about whatever issue they're dealing with. With America, they don't want to do that. They want to talk about, oh, y'all need to, let I'm sorry, I forgot the letters. Y'all need to let them have their freedom. Y'all need to they're not coming over there to have that discussion. Could you imagine? Think of it like this. Okay, I know y'all are familiar with the show Shark Tank. And you have the billionaires sitting up there, and then the people come in and whatever they're trying to sell to them or get money for or open a company for, they walk in and they talk about that issue. And then when the people respond, they're responding to those issues. They're asking them questions about that issue. So imagine if you're going in there and you're trying to sell this product and they start talking about something totally different that has nothing to do with your product. You're going to be like looking at them, well, oh, okay, yeah, but I came here to talk about this. But they're deflecting, they're not acknowledging you, they're not, respecting you, respecting your time, respecting your efforts. They're not doing all, they're having a totally different conversation that has nothing to do with the growth of your country. Every time you see in America over in Africa, they take, and don't give anything back. And with China and Russia, Russia just wiped out $20 billion worth of debt. And with China, you see they're building roads, they're building these different things. And that allows Africa to grow as a country, Africa to grow as a nation. I'm not saying those are the greatest deals because, I have trust issues. And the only thing I hope and pray is that with Africa, they understand they're the ones for one, I want them to come together as a country. Like I said, I understand they're different countries, but, come together as a people and build the continent of Africa back up, because they really are in the power position. And if anyone's coming over there, they should be coming over there to make a deal with Africa, not to give them a deal. And so as long as they keep that in the forefront of their mind and understand we're in the power position and we don't have to beg, we don't have to take deals that's not going to work for us or our people, then they will be okay. And then what America needs to realize is this. Okay, if you think back to when the war first started with Ukraine and Russia, normally people would have been like, yeah, that's wrong. Russia should have never invaded Ukraine. But if you notice, a lot of people, including people in Africa, they didn't say anything. Some of them, like some people was like, yeah, that's wrong. Some people was like, well, whatever. They didn't have an opinion on it. And that has to do with past relationships. So what China and Russia is doing is building a positive relationship throughout the world. Plus, if they're working with them, they're also on the continent. And if more people get help from, and they seeing their economy go up, China's not just coming over there, take. But if they're coming over there and they're seeing their economy flourish, they're seeing their country get better and things are improving. If China decides to go into war with Taiwan, whose side are the majority of the world going to be on? Because like I said, America said they're going to go and help Taiwan if a war ever break out. If China want to break out a war with another country, and these, and how is that going to pan out when you have countries that are benefiting from a relationship with China compared to benefiting from a relationship with America? So either they're going to stay neutral or they're going to take the side of the people that's benefiting them the most. So you have to look at this, it's not just, America is too busy focusing on sexualizing children and not running a country. Running a country is not just about what's going on within America. Running a country is also realizing what's going on around the world that can either help you or hinder you or destroy you. But they're too busy trying to push an agenda that's only benefiting a small sector of America. And then even if these individuals want to live their lives like that, fine, go ahead, live your life like that, but leave everyone else out of it. Leave the children out of it. They're not your kids. Leave them out of it and leave everyone else out of it. I'm not a cis person. I don't know what a cisgender is. I am a woman. God created me a woman. So don't start tagging me with names that don't fit me because it fits your agenda. Don't have, you got doctors who went to school for 4 or 5 years changing the definition of what a woman is or what a man is. America is destroying itself from within, and you don't think these other countries are sitting there watching? How could it's like logic is no longer logical. And when you sit here and you hear these people that are supposed to be in educated people talking babble, talking BS, you see a dictionary redefining words that are not true, just to make a small sector of this country happy, and while destroying this country at the same time. They don't see the bigger picture by pushing this through. When they keep pushing this, think about this. Just think about it this way. Just say you're a business person. You're in America, you're an individual, you're a business person. You have this one company that wants to work with you, and you have this other company that wants to work with you. You're gonna go to one country, you're gonna talk to them, you're gonna interview with them. You're gonna go to the other country, talk to them, interview with them, stuff like that. You're not just gonna look at how this company is gonna benefit me on one level. You're gonna look at the company as a whole. Can I have a long-term relationship with this company? What is this company about? If I hook up with this company, would it hurt my brand? And if one company is doing the stuff that American is doing, and another country is, you might not agree with everything about each of these companies, but you need something from them in order to help your business to grow. You're gonna weigh your options on who you're gonna choose. So with America, it's like they're not seeing, they're falling from grace, but they don't see that. The president don't see that. His cabinets don't see that. They're falling for grace, and everybody else looking at the other option. This might not be the best option, but it's better than this option. It's better than America. And they don't understand they're falling for grace. What's going on in America is like a cancer. It is slowly killing America from the inside. There's no common sense being used anymore. There's no morals being used anymore. And I'm not just talking about Christian morals. I'm just talking about morals, just a moral standing. Yes, I'm a Christian and I have Christian values. I will always put God before any man. So I have Christian values, but I'm just saying, just on a moral level, as even if you don't believe in God, why would you sit and have conversations about sex with kids? Why would you tell a child they can change their sex from a man to a woman, from a woman to a man? Why would you take away their freedom to choose who they want to truly be when they become an adult? How many of y'all as adults change your mind from one career to the next, or one thing, sports to the next, or I want to do this, I want to do it, but you changed as you got older, as you seen things, as you experienced life, as you experienced the world, you had a change of mind, which is okay. But suppose someone took all your choices away and you could only go in one direction. A lot of people would be miserable right now because they're doing a job they don't want to do, or they're living a life they don't want to live, but you still have the option of doing something else. But if someone take that choice away from you, you're slowly destroying the next generations that's going to be ahead, that's going to be leading America. If you have these people who are so distraught because of how they was brought up as a child, if you have people who got anger issues because of how they was brought up as a child, when you got people that looking at, I would never have a normal life because of how they was brought up as a child, how can they make informed and right decisions for everyone else? Because you're not just living your life for you, you're living your life for everyone else that's in front of you, beside you, and coming behind you. And so that takes more value. Everything isn't gonna be happy la la. It's great. Sometimes you do things just because it's the right thing to do. Even if it's not something that's going to make you happy, you got to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, what is the right thing for this country? What is the right thing for this nation? What is the right thing for me to do as the president of the United States? Close my border and stop pushing sexualizing kids, and understand the world is not just America is watching, the world is watching. You're hurting America by the things that you're doing, and you're not realizing it, or you just don't care, or you have another agenda that's benefiting you as an individual. Just like all these selfish people running around here, oh, it hurts my feelings because y'all say, y'all, you know, you still want to call me a man, you got a penis. Last time I checked, men have penis. You're getting upset. As a Christian, we are the most hated people in the world. Even in the Bible, it's telling you, if you want to be a Christian, you're going to be hated. The Bible even say that. As Christians, we don't run around and say, oh, y'all should love us because we want to be Christian. Oh, it's so heartbreaking that as a Christian, we are so hated. No, we walk around with knowing that we're hated and we don't care. It just is what it is. What it is. We're not around here trying to make everybody's lives miserable. It may seem that way to the people who don't want to have morals and values. But like I said, I feel like the average person wants some type of morals and values. And, you know, you want, as an individual, you want to be able to send your child to school and not worry about them coming back, you sending your son to school and he's coming back as a girl with a totally different name, and you're finding out 3-4 months later that your son is your daughter. They're calling you, come pick up your daughter. You're like, I don't have a daughter. Oh, you do now? We turned your son into a daughter. So as an individual, regardless of how you want to identify yourself, that's where morals come in at. That's where values come in at. That has nothing to do with like I said, that's just selfish that you want to turn someone else's child into something that makes you happy. You don't care about what's going to happen to that child long run. The only thing you're caring about is yourself. That is selfish. And I can't see a standing beside selfish. I cannot see understanding selfish, especially when it's hurting someone else. People that are so innocent, you don't care about hurting them. And you're so caught up in your own head, your own feelings and your own emotions that you like F the children. That's basically what you're saying. F them kids, because you don't care. America is falling apart and it doesn't care. And so when these other countries look at America, there's no respect the American people are giving these other countries. And so these countries see the downfall of America, so they're running to they're looking at other options. We want to grow, we want to build. We don't want to have to deal with American BS that they got going on over there. We're trying to build ourselves up. We're trying to pull ourselves out of a deficit that we got in because of America. You know, a lot of countries are going through heartaches because of colonization and the things that America did in the past. And they're trying to rebuild from that. So that's basically all I wanted to say. Peace. Have a great day.